Greetings, greetings, greetings. You are now tuned into the vault. Trust Christian, own nothing, control everything. Just want to thank you for tuning in live, listening, replay. Always appreciate everybody that tunes in live, listens in the replay. This is the vault, episode 622, public versus private mindset, story one. And definitely, I'm really excited about doing this episode. This is one of those episodes where, interestingly enough, this is just a consultation, a series of consultations. And so, people say, oh, get involved with the vault. How's that going to work? Well, you're going to sign a non disclosure agreement. So, we're not going to expose anyone's specific name, but we're going to go over some mindsets today. So, when people are engaging with the vault, they can say, okay, what is a public mindset? What is a private mindset? Because it seems as though people are okay with failure. If you say you don't want to be in the public, how are you going to operate in the private if you don't have the right mentors, the right people leading you? So then we get into this environment where, and we're going to jump around a little bit, so just be patient with us in the beginning of setting it up. Then we get on the line with another individual. Now, of course, they're not private. How? Because in their speech. They're not private in their speech. You still got trustees coming online talking about they got social security numbers. For all y'all that want to keep talking like that, we already know this is the public versus private mindset story one. So let's hop into it. Trustee comes in, trustee training program, says, oh yeah, I want to be in the foundation. Trustee says, okay, well, we're going to get in the foundation. Trustee comes back and says, well, I've done some additional research and I want to know about a 501c1A. What are you talking about? Public versus private mindset. Are you going to get led, or are you going to be trained, or you're the smartest person in the room now? But from what we can tell from our vantage point over at the vault, we sit in a room with billionaires. We sit in a room with the high net worth investors. We don't see this particular trustee. And we're in consistent rooms. Why? Because it's about the information that you have. We're not all created equal. Not all lawyers are created equal. Not all attorneys are created. So when you ask what specific entity has some of the most powerful attributes about it, it will be the 501c3, because that's what most of the traditional charities are run out of, not out of these derivatives. And then think about it. Someone with a public mindset can't really even tell you about a private entity because they're not private. Right. So, trustee says, I want to get going foundation. Okay, I gotta use the social to get us to get the EIN number. First of all, if you guys go and get EIN numbers, y'all can go do that. But from what we've seen when it comes to the charities, they require that someone use a number. At the end of the day, are you signing it with a restricted or unrestricted signature? Are you signing it in a business capacity? This is the public versus the private mindset. Oh, I'm getting spooky now, Trust Christian, because, this is this is this, and I'm not sure about all this. Well, first of all, if you're private, all you're going to do is just ask questions. If you truly want to be mentored, people just ask questions. But what happens is people start mixing their emotions into the business. That's what happens. They do that in the public all the time. You think about it. The rule in the public is the customer's always right, right? Isn't that the rule in the public side? How's that the rule in the private side? The customer's not always right in the private side. So you got someone that wants to sit here and tell you how to do a process that they don't know how to do. And if they knew how to do it, why would they engage already? Well, let's share with you why they engage. Because they don't know the private sector. That's all. People say, oh, I'm going to jump around. I'm going to jump around. Nah, not in the private sector. Why? It's not that many of us. We all kind of know each other. It's a small world. You're entering into the less than the 1%. We're in the same clubs. Public versus private mindset story. So trustee says, well, I was so geared to never use the social ever again that this is the reason why I'm not going to move forward. Well, do you know how to do it without it? No. Don't have a better alternative. Trustees are getting stuck in, well, you told me never to use the social ever again, so that means I shouldn't use the social for the foundation. No, it doesn't mean that. The foundation's charitable entity. It's tax exempt. Well, I didn't know that. Okay, well, you may not know that, and that's fair because it's private. You hear how that sounds, ladies and gentlemen? We're sharing with you all why most people don't make it in the sector. Oh, well, Judge Christian Vogt, you're supposed to give us all the information up front. First of all, that's like somebody saying, do you go to a lawyer and say, hey, give me the trust document and then I'll pay you? I want to read over the trust document. Is that what y'all saying to the lawyers? Is that what y'all saying to the accountants? Just give me the trust document. I'll pay you after I read it. Because that's what they're saying when they say these type of things. So we just wanted to really make it a point to connect with the listening audience, people that are gonna be long time listeners, people that are listeners in general, and they listen to the vote and they get it and they're like, okay, so a public mindset means you have to go into student mode. People say, oh well, I need to be able to get the information in. It needs to be in one specific way. We sat in the room with the mentors. They put on a PowerPoint presentation, showed it, and kept it moving. And they did not care because they had money. And it's like, well, what is it gonna take, Trust Christian, for public people to get about being private? That private people don't want them to talk. They don't want to talk to them. Why? Because they understand the squirreliness about the public mindset. They understand the squirreliness about it. They understand that a public person is going to keep saying they got a social security number after they've been in trust. A public person, supposedly, they've been in trust for a year. Y'all been in trust for 2 years, and it's still your trust. That's what happens. It's the public mindset. Now y'all see why private people sometimes don't want to have conversations. Why? Because they understand you don't know you know how people say, "Oh, you're not in your proper person." Are you in your proper person? Are you in your proper person? First of all, if you're in your proper person, you're not in commerce. Oh, Trust Christian, I appreciate you when you go in. Yeah, because we got people sitting here from the public mindset that want to sit here and bring that public mindset into the private and say, I got a social. You got a what? You got a legal name? Do you own something? Do you own your name? How can you own your name? If you own your name, you're liable for it. We got to keep going over this, though, Trust Christian and Revolt. Why? Because this is the difference between the public and the private mindset. Oh, Trust Christian, I want to give my trust. We got to give my trust. I hear public people say it like that, Trust Christian. Right. But you say you want to be private. The privates don't say that. Why is it so hard to speak that way, Trust Christian and Revolt? Because we're in an environment that it doesn't groom people to think that way and speak that way. And we're not in an environment where most people are doing private business. They're not. They're doing public business. So they don't speak of it that way. Most people are in the public. They don't speak of it that way. If it's trust Christian, own and control everything, that means it's private. Why? Because you don't own it. That alone takes it out of a public jurisdiction, meaning that it's not yours. It's not public. How does that work though, trust Christian and Evolve? Because I want to get rid of this public mindset. Public mindset is definitely lack of student mentality. Some people can say, "Oh, you literally mean that?" Ladies and gentlemen, even secondary school is considered to be private. Why? Because you got to come out of pocket with it. Now, granted, you can get a scholarship and these loans to go to a private education. To go to a college or a university. Well, it's the same thing with a private education. Are you going to take out a loan to go to get a private education? And are people if people don't show up for classes, should they be given their money back, things like that. Well, I didn't show up for class, trust Christian vote, so I should get the money back. Because it works in the private, it works in the public like that, right? It doesn't. But these are the mindsets. The mindset. Oh, well, I don't know, but I'm going to tell you what I researched recently. Well, there's a difference between telling and asking. Let's go. Let's be clear on that. See, ladies and gentlemen, some people would like to make you think, oh, I'm in a position where I really am wanting to know it, but I need you to give it to me the way I need it. What do you mean give it to you the way you need it? It's diagnosing your specific situation and moving forward. We were talking to someone the other day, and we told them it's like the best thing for you to do is to go become a financial advisor. Why? Because then you'll be able to give people financial advice. If you wrote a book about anything, it's considered advice. Or should we not take you seriously? Because if it's advice, then we got to take you seriously. If it's not advice, like, oh, it's the vote, it's just for entertainment and educational purposes. So is it advice or is it entertainment and educational purposes? Do y'all remember Sesame Street? You learn through some forms of educate. What is it? Entertainment at times. So you can it's entertainment and education. Whereas advice, that's not entertainment and education. See, people want advice like the public. They want someone to just tell them, this is what you're supposed to do with your money. This is how your life's supposed to be. And everything, we got it all squared away for you. Because what happened to you knowing thyself and taking the time for thyself to sit down, go through a goal setting session? We were sitting here thinking about that with trustees, how with a lot of the trustees, they don't really know their reason for being. So we were going to tell them to reach out to the vault, Christian at trustchristian.com. Reach out and we will create some affirmation tracks based off of their reason for being that to give them a little bit more conducive growth along their path. To intertwining your reason for being with your actual with your goals makes a big deal. Public versus private mindset story. Appreciate everybody for tuning in live, listening, replay. Always appreciate everybody for tuning in live, listening, replay. Feel free to reach out Christian at trustchristian.com. Once again, it's Christian at trustchristian.com. We got the workshop coming up in October and 26. It's going to be in Chicago. Look forward to seeing you and hearing from you at the location. Look forward to seeing and hearing from you. Christian at trustchristian.com for last minute reservations. Once again, if someone's gonna go private, they're walking in with a student mentality. We were even talking to someone the other day about how when we go to high net worth investor conferences, sure, it's only a few reasons for you to be in a room, but learning is definitely one of the reasons why you're in a room. Somebody could say networking, they could say you're pitching and raising money, but point being is you still want to be in the environment to learn something. And how do you know more than somebody that's been in the environment longer with 30 years of experience? How do you know? How? Appreciate everybody for tuning in live, listening to replay. If you want to convert your public from the private mindset, it's trust Christian, own and control everything. It's detached from ownership. It's detached from but then you see how you go back into the system. Oh, I got a social. Well, if you have a social, now you're back in the system. Christian at trustchristian.com. Once again, it's Christian at trustchristian.com. Peace.